Congratulations. So each year, the MEM students vote to select a student speaker for the hooding ceremony. This year, the students have chosen Amine Bounoughaz. So at this time, I'd like to invite Amine to join us on the stage to share his thoughts about the MEM experience.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bienvenido. Swagit. Nalvaravu. Huang Ying. Hushamdad. Welkom neer. Karshilama. Dobro pozorovat. Welcome and welcome in sign language. These were greetings in 10 different languages spoken by our cohort, representing more than 20 countries from around the world. Indeed, on behalf of my cohorts, I would like to welcome you to the 2014 MEMP hooding ceremony at Duke University. In the beginning, I would like to start by expressing gratitude on behalf of my batch. First, to our families and friends and loved ones who are here with us today, those who are not here with us but who are present in our hearts and thoughts. Thank you very much. Thank you for your love, your support, and your patience. We wouldn't have made it without you. Second, to our dear professors who are here with us today. You have done a phenomenal job. Absolutely. Your combination of academia and real-world experience is unique and invaluable. Thank you for bringing so much knowledge, experience, and perspective. Last but not least, to our amazing administration and staff, Career Center, Dr. Fox, Dr. Glass, Dr. Murray, Bridget, Stacy, Erin, Jamila, Susan, Laurel, and of course the amazing Jenny and Ross. Thank you for being available, helpful, and supportive. And thank you for making us feel like we're part of a big family from day one. MEMers, remember the very first days, our orientation? The little passport that we had, we were running around, getting signatures, introducing ourselves to each other. We knew almost nothing about each other. And maybe we had a lot of preconceptions. We had a lot of misjudgments, maybe. But throughout this year, throughout this amazing year, the amazing experiences that we had, we were able to break a lot of the stereotypes and misconceptions that we had. For example, we learned that Iceland is not that icy, that Chinese and Taiwanese get along very well, that Indians and Pakistanis are actually best friends, except for when it comes to cricket, of course. They get very intense. We'll also be leaving with a lot of new positive stereotypes. Now we know that Nigerians really know how to dance, that Thai people are always chilled for some reason. What's your secret, really? Venezuelans are very lovable and adorable. Colombians throw the best birthday parties ever, hands down. Chileans tell the funniest jokes. Americans are very warm-hearted. Jordanians are very reliable and always keep their promises. Puerto Ricans are very sweet. Malaysians are extremely nice and polite. Turkish people are the best at socializing. Definitely. People from Panama are the best at limbo. It's all right to call any Algerian in the street Yarrouji, even if they're not red-headed. Roger Federer, who despite being an amazing tennis player, is not from Ghana. And of course, we've learned that with some practice, everyone can do Bollywood dancing. Definitely. Yeah, shout out to Apurva. So many beautiful memories that will be taken with us as we continue our life journey. Today is a very special day for all of us. Today, we walked into this room as students, and we will be leaving as graduates of Duke University, one of the best educational institutions in the world. Yeah. We all joined the MEM program because we wanted to be more than engineers. We wanted to be innovators, leaders in the technology industry. We are set out to bridge the gap between engineering and technology and business. And what a strong mission statement that is. Today, as we move on with our lives, there are 4 things that I want us to remember along the way that I hope will help us achieve that mission. The first thing I want us to leave with is believing in ourselves. I want to share a personal story with you. 6 years ago, I was starting my undergraduate degree in Algeria. I was this introverted person. I was shy of my own shadow. I was afraid to raise my hand in class for fear of saying something completely stupid and sounding like an idiot. I never thought I was particularly gifted or talented in anything, except blushing and stuttering, which I did very well. For a long time, I was paralyzed by my fears, until I heard these words that completely changed my life. The world does not belong to the smartest or to the most talented. It simply belongs to those who have the courage to be present. So I asked myself, what was keeping me from being present? What was I afraid of? What was the worst thing that could happen if I say something stupid in class? The worst thing was people are going to laugh, right? Are they going to remember it 5 years down the line? 10 years? 50 years? They pretty much forget it by the time the class ends, unless it was something really stupid, of course. So then I realized that I was not afraid of people. I was afraid of myself. I was afraid of not fulfilling the potential that I had. I just kept listening to that part that kept saying, you'll never be successful. And I just left that part define me. Had you told me then that I would be at Duke University at some point of my life, I would have thought, you're absolutely out of your mind, let alone delivering the graduation speech. MEMers, Professor Ryan so eloquently put it, we often self-limit ourselves. We choose to put the bar somewhere on what we can achieve, not for fear of what others think, but for fear of what we might think of ourselves. Today, as engineering managers, we are stepping into the unknown. It will be very easy to find something comfortable and settle. But do we want to do that? Would we want to do that and settle? Would we live with ourselves knowing that we did not live up to our own potential or to the expectations of the people that really believe in us? Let's always remember to have the courage to believe in ourselves and go the distance and discover all the amazing things that we can do. The second thing I want to leave us with today is conquering our fears. I don't know about you, but I had a very complicated relationship with fear. I always saw it as an undesirable weakness. I was paralyzed by fear for a long time. I just hated it. I wanted it to be gone. I just wish it never existed. I'm a slow learner, so it took me quite some time to realize that with courage and motivation, you can actually fight fear. And I remember the very first time I fought one of my fears, I thought, this is awesome. I don't have to be afraid anymore. So I just set out, and like a good engineer, I defined my problem. Fear is my problem. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to eradicate it. But something was wrong. Because the more energy I put in to fight fear, the stronger it got, and the weaker I got. It wasn't until I heard what Nelson Mandela said, that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. That's when I understood that the definition of the problem was wrong. My objective was wrong. My fears are not going anywhere. I'll always be afraid, but instead of investing my energy in destroying my fears, I just need to learn to accept it and act in spite of it. Like a good engineer, of course, I completely changed my problem-solving approach, and now I started developing habits of conquering my fear. So I literally developed a habit of doing the things that I'm most scared of when my fear is at its peak. A lot of times in class, when I race to raise my hand, and I know that could be very annoying to some of you, I'm not trying to beat anyone to the buzzer, but I'm just trying to conquer my own fear, because it's always there. Today, as I woke up in the morning, It was there. It's still here, but it's okay. It's completely fine to accept that in our lives, there are some fears that will always gonna be there. But we have to know that within us lies the power to triumph over these fears. And this is what makes our victories even a lot more meaningful and inspiring to others. Another thing that I want us to keep in mind is that willpower and motivation are limited resources. They're finite reservoirs that we need to utilize wisely. And the best investment of these resources is through establishing habits that are in line with our principles and that help us triumph over our fears again and again and again. The third thing I believe we should take with us is trusting others. Last September, I was applying for a job in management consulting with McKinsey. It has only been a month in the US when I got my call for interview. And at that moment, I remember thinking, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Why would they ever hire me and not these accomplished Ivy League graduates? By that time, fortunately, I knew that it was okay to be afraid, so I just did the only thing that was left to do, prepare for the interview. I was doing case interviews all the time, 24/7, for a month, no breaks. My problem was, I completely sucked at it. I wasn't getting any better with time and practice. I was actually getting worse. And my interview was just in a few days. I was in a complete mess. Until Cristobal, my roommate, walks in, sees me in that state, and says, Amine, you put yourself in a deep hole. Of course, that's the censored version of it. You can keep digging, and you'll only make things worse for yourself. You have given it your best. Now you need to stop, take a break, and let things work themselves out. I trusted him, and I took his advice. And I'm glad I did, because that break was one of the best things I did, and that eventually got me the job in a pool of 2,000 applicants. I'm very grateful for that, really. Thank you, Cristobal. My point here is, often in life, we will meet people who know a lot more than we do, who have much more experience and see things from a perspective that we do not have. People who are interested in our well-being and development. People who believe in us sometimes more than we believe in ourselves. Let's not block these people from our lives. As much as we hate to admit it as engineers, we cannot do everything by ourselves. And if we want to maximize our impact, then it's time to move towards interdependence and be open to trust others and learn from them. Last but not least, the fourth and last thing that I want to leave us with is being compassionate. Being here today at Duke University says a lot about us, that we're ambitious, motivated, risk-taking, that we want to lead a purposeful and meaningful life. This is very far from being an easy mission. As innovators, we will be constantly swimming against the current, and that could get exhausting. In this process, and coming from a STEM background, it is really easy to treat ourselves like machines and not human beings. It is very easy to focus on the golden eggs and neglect the goose. On the long run, the toll is going to be expensive. Irreversible damages sometimes to our families and friends, to the people that we deeply care about. So I want us to make a promise today that in the midst of our busy and challenging lives, that in the midst of changing the world, we will remember to treat ourselves gently, to be compassionate to ourselves first, and then to others, and to work really hard to find that delicate balance. As we're leaving this room today, I want us to remember to always believe in ourselves, to create habits to conquer our fears, to trust others, and always be compassionate with ourselves. In conclusion, as we're saying goodbye this weekend, I want to share with you something that Emil wrote that I believe really fits the occasion. Every relationship in this world comes to an end. When this happens, there are three options. The first one, you say goodbye and you move on as if nothing happened. The second thing, you say goodbye, You remember these people for a day, a week, a month, or a year, and then life replaces them with new people, and you eventually forget them. The third choice, or the third option, is you go your separate ways, but they will always stay with you forever. Not because you promised them that you will not forget them, but because they changed something in you. They made you a better person. I really believe that we've all impacted each other's lives deeply this year. This is why no matter where we go, we'll always share that special connection. To all my batch, thank you very much for trusting me and giving me the honor to be your speaker. I really wish us all the best. I have no doubt about all the amazing things we'll all be doing in the future. Now, I invite you to watch this amazing video that Isabel and the awesome CCC team made that captures all the beautiful moments that we shared this year. Enjoy this weekend, enjoy graduation, and God bless us all.